back in Dreamweaver. Now I'm going to correct, I'm in my CSS sheet and I see my nav bar is not in line, although I had typed in the code, and then when I check I see that I had written this code display incorrectly. And I'm wondering if I could clean up it. There's a spell check. I don't know if it's in CSS or HTML. Yeah, it's in HTML where you can spell check. But since I'm in CSS, and when I was just looking at it, I noticed that it was wrong. So I'm going to correct that. And so my display is in line, and now you see it comes into line. Okay. Next, I'm going to import an image, and I want it to be above my nav bar. So I am going to go to Insert, an image, and oh, before I do that, actually, there's a really cool way. If I go back to extract, if I hadn't extracted my images, if I go back to extract, you get this window, and then you can upload your PSD file of your wireframe, which I did. And then once you have that, you can go to the layers here to see all the different layers that you have. And so that's the one that I'm looking for here, is my image layer of my logo. And there's this down arrow here, which means you can download it, and you can download it and put it in the folder that you desire, of which I'm going to put it in the images folder, which I have already. So I've already done that. I can rename it here if I'd like to, and then I would just save. So I've already done that. So when I go to insert image, it's already in my images folder here, and I'm going to open it. So now I have it on the left side, and I want to center it. So centering images is always done in line, like the code automatically assumes it's in line. And the CSS doesn't really have a centering feature, so we're going to do it here on the HTML source code page. And it's done within the tags of the image source here. So just before the tag closes, I'm going to type in, and this is the code that you'll need to do, style equals, and then quotations. And within the quotations, we're going to type in display, colon, and we're going to block, so we're going to block the inline feature. So block and then semicolon, and then we're going to center it by putting automatic margins on either side. So then we go margin left, colon, auto, semicolon, margin right, sorry, colon, auto, semicolon. Okay, and that's the code. Now, the reason it's not being centered here is because I realized that I've put it in the body, whereas I want to put it up in the head part. So I'm going to highlight the code that I just did. So sometimes if it's not working, it may just be the placement of where you put the code and not the code itself. If you're sure that the code is correct, maybe it's just the placement. So here, I'm just going to highlight this and move. How do I move it? I know it's a drag. I can pick it up. I'm going to move it up into the head, up there, exactly. And if I still don't see it, it's because I need to refresh. So there it goes. And that's how I centered my logo. And if I look at my live view, now I have my logo and I have my nav bar. Still got to figure out how to space these out, and I'll have to change the color and the size of the fonts, and also add some padding because I find that it's a little too thin. But that's in another step. At least it's coming along. I've got my logo in and it's centered.